Hey everybody, welcome to another QuickSave review with me, RC. Today we're going to be playing a bit of Hellbound on Steam. This is a $15 game. It came out last year, I believe it was August of 2020. It's an FPS. It is a FPS that is inspired by 90s FPS, and it lets you know that like pretty much everywhere. When the game loads up, on the store page, in the trailer, it's everywhere. They're like, it is a game meant to be a 90s FPS. So much so that the game, when it boots up, it lets you know that, hey, this game is meant to be hard. So if it's hard, that's why, because it's built with the bones of being a 90s FPS, which is interesting because when you're playing it, it does feel like an old FPS, like, you know, gameplay wise. But aesthetically, it doesn't. It looks like a brand new game. It looks like a game that may have come out, like, I don't know, within the last, 7 years or so, maybe like an Xbox 360 game, something like that. But the visuals are actually very nice. But there are a few things about this game that I don't like. I like the gameplay and everything, but we'll get into the things I don't like in a second here. Just so you know, there is a free demo of this game if you want to check it out for yourself. And there's survival mode, which we will not be checking out here today because you guys can download that for free as well on Steam if you want to see, if you actually enjoy the survival mode. They crammed it into the full game here as well, so you have, you can access it in one place instead of two separate games. But we're just going to be looking at the campaign here today. And what we're going to be taking a look at, so that way you guys can hear some of this rock and metal here. We've played through the first 3 levels. We're going to jump into the 4th right now. This game, I like it. Okay, I guess I'll just say that right off the bat here. I do like it. It definitely hits all the, I guess it hits all the check boxes, checks them all off for it to feel like an old school game, okay? Or an old school FPS, we'll say. Just a lot of enemies running at you, no reloading, that kind of thing. You'll get lost in level like you used to do in Doom now and then. Like, it definitely has that feel to it. The problem with that, however, though, is that the game is like that to a fault, besides the aesthetics. As you can see, the game is actually quite pretty. You can tell they're definitely going for like a Doom 2016 style look here, when they were building the game, I think. But what bothers me is that the game is so short. The game is less than 2 hours long to play through, okay? So keep that in mind here while we're talking about this game here. While it looks pretty and it plays all right, there's less than 2 hours of game here, and it's $15. So that is my biggest problem with the game. They have actually said in the forums, the Steam forums, that they plan to release more content. And that was back in November of 2020. They said, hey, new content is coming, sit tight. It's, we hope to release it in December sometime. It is now almost March of 2021. It's been 3 months. There's been no update. There we go, all these guys coming after us. There's been no update, and it's almost March, and, the game is already, it's still just a super short experience. So, I guess for some people that might be a perk. For some people are like, okay, I can play through this real quickly, and then I can jump into a harder difficulty and see if I can finish it there. One other thing I want to mention for you guys, too, if you are achievement hunters, the game has no achievements whatsoever. And so far in the game, I have only met up with, like, 3 enemies, I guess you could say. You got these little guys who run at you on all 4s. You have other demons who stand on their legs and they throw fireballs at you, similar to the imp from Doom. And then you have these guys, the grunts. Now, the grunts come in a few different flavors, which is they basically just show up and use the same... Look at this guy. He's taking a little dance over there. We can't open that until we get the yellow key. But they basically just use the weapons that you use. And that's it. So far, that's been all the enemies, and we are in the 4th level here. Now, I feel like being in the 4th level, we got to be close, if not at the halfway point of the game. I believe there are 7 or 8 levels in this game. So far, there's been no boss battles. There's been a couple of horde battles where they give you a power up at the end of the level and you just like massacre a bunch of enemies, which is always fun. But so far, that's all that's been in the game. Like, it's been, you have, we have the 4 weapons we've collected, which are Actually, one we started with, which is these fists, which you never use. I don't even know why they're in the game, really. You have a bat, which is, like, pretty powerful. A lot of the enemies, it's like a one-shot. You have a one-shot shotgun, and then you have a triple-barrel shotgun, which is fun to use. So I did a little research, you know, when I got the key for this game. They offered it, and I said, okay, this looks cool, let's check it out. I played through a level, and I kind of wanted to research and see how other people felt about it. And it seems to be getting the same kind of feeling that I have. Oh, wow. Here we go. Brand new weapon, finally. We haven't gotten a new weapon since the first level. This is pretty fun, actually. Automatic. But everybody seems to feel the same way, which is that the game feels good to play. It's fun, especially if you're a fan of retro shooters. But there just isn't enough content here to warrant like a $15 price tag. If this game was kind of in the like $6.99 range, maybe $8, $10 at most range, I think that I would feel a little bit better recommending it. But at 15 bucks, you know, I have a hard time with that. Especially considering, you know, the developer said in the forums that, you know, they're going to release more content for it at some point. Don't really have an official date for that. But instead of releasing actual content for the game, they instead have released DLC for it. So it's not playable DLC. It's not like an actual game that you can play. The DLC is basically like a PDF. I was looking to see what that thing did, but I guess it's going to affect something out here. Oh, we can't open that at all. All right, so what did that switch do? I don't know. So the DLC was basically just a downloadable PDF with concept art, and there was a soundtrack. So if you really like the music, then you're getting that. But you got to pay an extra $5 for that. So in total, you're paying 20 bucks if you want to get all the stuff with this game. And this does not feel like, you know, if it's only a 2-hour campaign. Here we go. This is where we're going. It doesn't feel like a final finished game, you know? Here, we'll wait for these guys. There we go. Blow them up. Which, in my opinion, very, very unfortunate, because you could tell that the team that worked on this put a lot of time and effort. They're the imp dudes that throw fireballs. You can tell they put a lot of time and effort into crafting this game because it looks nice, the gameplay's fun, levels are actually decently designed, you know, like you can tell there's a lot of talent behind the team who made this. But for the game to kind of like sit in limbo like that and not really have direction, I feel like it's such a shame. You know, so while the game feels good to play and I'm having fun with it, a 2-hour campaign for 15 bucks, I'm not sure that I can recommend it. If you find it for like a good sale, you know, I think that would be better. Like if you could get it, you know, half off, I feel like that's probably a better sweet spot. The yellow key is right there. We need that yellow key to get into this door here. But yeah, I think half off, I think that's a good sweet spot for it. I think a lot more people, you know, will get a chance to play it at that price, or should buy it at that price. 15 bucks though, like I said, though, is a big ask, I think. I think that's too much for what you got here. Can I actually get up here? There we go. Your protagonist here is a Duke Nukem wannabe, like, space caveman type of guy. He will say all kinds of, like, rude stuff. He has said some, like, pretty insane things already. I don't know that I'm a big fan of him. He hasn't really grown on me because he feels like such a cartoon character, but I guess that's what they're going for. You know, that's what they want with their character here, which is totally fine. Me personally, as much as I think the Duke Nukem game is cool and did a lot of great stuff for the FPS genre back in the day, I don't overall like the character of Duke Nukem. I think he's like just kind of a slime ball, which is, you know, he's never been, like, I've always thought some of the stuff he did was funny, but now in 2021, it's just kind of like, all right, you know, I just kind of roll my eyes, you know. And this guy kind of wants to be that, which is fine. You know, if you're into Duke Nukem and you still think he's funny, then hey, you got this guy too, okay? We need the green key for that one. Where do we go with the yellow key? Oh, there it is. Oh, that's where we came out. Should we have gotten the green key already too? So this was the stuff I was talking about, where you're like, oh, you're gonna get a little lost, like trying to find your way, you know, like you would in an old 90s FPS for sure. Like big, expansive levels with lots of directions. You're going to be hunting around a little bit every now and then. I really like this automatic weapon here. From what I could tell, there might be one more weapon in the game. But there aren't a ton of weapons in it. I guess 6 weapons isn't bad. I know in the real deal, like if you're playing an actual 90s FPS though, they try to fill up that keyboard, 1 through 0, 1 through 9 to get you that many different weapons to play around with, Oh jeez. These guys pack more of a punch here. One of the other things they mentioned too is the difficulty for the game. They let you know at the very beginning when you load the game, hey, this is meant to be hard. So if it is hard, then just, basically get good is what they're saying. It's a 90s FPS, it's meant to be that way, so deal with it. It's basically what they're saying. So, keep that in mind, there will be a challenge here. I'm playing on normal though, and normal there hasn't been too much of a challenge. It hasn't been too big of a deal. However, there are harder difficulties, so if that is too easy for you, feels just right for me, considering all the enemies and stuff that are available to kill in this. That feels like a good sweet spot for me. I usually play on normal as it is, but for those of you who are used to playing on harder difficulties, even Nightmare, those options are there for you. But yeah, I wish that the team behind this would have focused more on creating more game for the player and less time, like, crafting a PDF and a soundtrack, separate DLC for people. Or at least, like, added that as a free bonus for people who bought the game day one and don't have much game to play. To me, that just seems like a real strange decision on their part. Not one that I am definitely a fan of, that's for sure. What's up here? Oh, another one of these guys. Those guys that run on all fours, man, if you let them get close to you, they will take you out. There's the green key, finally. You guys can kind of see the Doom influence here, right? Doom 2016. Okay, we got the green key. Now we can go open the big door as well. But you can see here, just from this level 4 here, that, the level design in the game is actually not too bad. Like, they did a good job crafting it, putting it together. I haven't been lost in it for, more than, like, maybe a minute trying to figure out where I'm going and stuff. And I've just been having fun with it. It's just too bad that it's so short. And I think that is going to be the end of that level right there. So there you go. That is the end of level 4, the Dead Forest. And of course, the obligatory Doom finish screen too, right? So for what you could see on this, finish screen here, you can see that each little emblem on screen actually represents a level. So if you count them, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 if you count the planet, which I'm not so sure the planet is going to be a level. But if it is, there's 8. But they're giving you pars of like, yeah, you could finish this in like 1 minute 40 seconds. If you if you followed these pars and there were only 7 levels in the game, you'd be finishing this game in like less than 15 minutes, which is just crazy to me that they're okay with that. To me, I'm like, man, I don't know. Just seems crazy to me. But again, not a bad game. Not a bad game at all. It's fun. And it's well made.
The dead have spoken, fuckers. Time for you to join them.
There you go. There's your Duke Nukem wannabe line there. But yeah, not a bad game. We just want more of it. I think it's a really, really unfortunate situation where this is just a 2-hour game. Like, this should be longer. Like I said, even if this was even like a 4-hour game at $15, I think I could recommend it more. But for me to right there have just like finished like half a game or half of the game or 2/3 of the game right there, like, I mean, I've been playing this game for less than an hour at this point, so It's just weird to me. It's really weird, and there's a lot of games out there that are about 2 hours long that go for $5. You know what I mean? And they're also just as fun as this is. So you know, it's unfortunate. Hopefully they do get around to making more content. If they do, maybe we'll revisit it here. But as it stands, you guys can check out the demo if you want to see if the game is for you. Just keep in mind the length, and of course the survival mode is also free to play on Steam. So download that if you want to check it out too. But guys, thanks for watching. And of course, I'll see you all next time.